We should just always be recording. ABR.
A always, BB are recording. Got it. Stay
coffees for recorders.
I mean, there are three of us, so there should be a third place in this episode of the Fairly KickAss podcast, which means one of us is getting fired after this.
Well, it was fun. It was fun with you guys.
I hear Ted in the background. I think we all three of us just got a reprieve.
Why have we changed the locks yet?
he has a lockpick set.
That's
the lockpicking
right.
lawyer. Shout out lockpicking lawyer on YouTube. Good follow. Legally follow him. I feel like I have to put a qualification for reasons.
But you know what won't stalk you? Nope. That's not even gonna try. Not even gonna. Nope. Let's just get to this.
Do something else, please.
Let's just go ahead and
Potentially incriminating intros on the Fairly KickAss podcast.
And before anyone asks, all three of us do have lawyers on retainer.
Don't ask us why.
I hope.
Don't ask us why. Just know that we do.
I probably should use pseudonyms here just to protect the innocent, but Zach, Jay, and Dan. There are thousands of those names. Like those aren't good enough. You won't find us.
Also, bro, this show. There are no innocents.
That's very fair.
All right. So what are our victims experiencing on this particular episode?
It's all getting cut. Oh my God. So back sometime in the past.
Is any of this broadcastable?
No, absolutely not. Which is pretty much par for the course for us. So a few months ago, we, and by we, in this case, I mean Dan and myself, did a redraft of a previous top 5 episode that we had done before. We basically took that entire list of songs, the top 5s, the honorable mentions, and that essentially was our pool by which to draw from. We were leaving out a lot in the process for sure, but that was part of the fun, is how would we look at these songs now versus how we looked at them, when we initially did this top 5 list, which at that point would have been a couple of years before that, I believe. Mm-hmm. Fast forward the clock to today, when we're doing the same sort of redraft concept for a different top 5 list, that being our TV show themes episode that we put out back in May of 2023. Same concept applies here. We take all of the top 5s from all of our lists, all the honorable mentions, everything that we talked about on the show, and we basically redraft our top 5 teams. The caveat is that each song, each TV theme in this case, can only be picked once. So if you're not first, then you're last. Sorry about your luck. I hope you have another theme in mind. We go in a round just like we always do. And at the end, we have our teams, and hopefully we love them. And if not, then we'll trade for future considerations after the fact.
Yeah.
As far as the process goes, because we are breaking the fourth wall here. This is the second episode we've recorded today. The first one was very, very daunting. I don't know which order these are going to go in, so I don't want to spoil it, but it took a lot of effort, a lot of listening. This one, probably not as much, Dan. What would you say? Would this one probably a little bit easier of a lift?
Yeah, so not as... Actually, most of the listening was probably done more so for fun than needing to go back and actually... I take it back. There were a number of things on the honorable mentions list that I had to go back because I didn't recognize it off the top of my head. And that is something we'll talk about throughout the course of this show, is the thing that just buries into your brain to associate song and show, place and time, and so on and so on. But yeah, no, I think most of what was on the list we pretty much already had stuck in our craniums.
For sure.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything that I could even add since we did this the first time. I don't think there's anything I could add that would change that. Maybe one.
I think there's one song I might add for a song's sake, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we did pretty good the first time around. I think we nailed it pretty well. But, as always with these lists, there are honorable mentions that come up, and other hosts are like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that song, or, oh, I forgot that one existed. So now is our chance to right that wrong and put those lists in our top fives where they deserve or where they belong.
Yeah, agreed.
Dan, why don't you actually kick us off? Because I didn't do a random number generator, and I'm not going to. I'm boycotting today. Not doing it. So,
all right then. So you're going to be the one on the next sub to come in?
Yeah. I'm at the timekeeper's table right now.
And Jay can be in the circle.
I like it. Yeah.
I hate me for that.
Yep. You should.
I know. So I get the number one overall pick, which is,
Indeed.
it's not often. Usually I have to suck and kill an entire season to get this one. Sorry, San Jose. I went over the whole list twice. And I tried to find a reason to have my mind changed, and I could not. I'll also add the caveat that if we were doing this and I'd come up in a different generation, I probably would have a completely different answer as my number one pick, because for millennials, elder and otherwise, this song and this show is one of the leading shows that kind of defined our television upbringing. We were all singing along Friday nights on NBC. You know every word, even if it's an unconscious memory. It led a series that meant so much to so many communities, a sitcom that spoke to many demographics and tackled a number of difficult topics in honest ways that hadn't really been seen on TV before, which is a very long way to say, and the only script that I wrote for this. And feel free to join in with me here that this is a story all about how my top pick is once again The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
The one thing as I was looking through this list, and this ended up, I think I had it like number 5 for me, just on my board, on my draft board, as it were. Not only is this just a bop, obviously, not only is this just a solid, great track on its own, but it's also perhaps the most narrative track in all of television history. If you don't know what this show is about, this song will tell you exactly what the show is about, or at least the kind of pseudo origin story of Will and how he got to Bel-Air. Obviously you can hear it in your head. You're singing it already. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating how like utilitarian this song actually is, on top of just being a bop.
It's kind of brilliant because it does kind of go back to even a generation, like the show is the very late 80s and early 90s, and it goes back to a generation before it where literally that was the whole point of either the opening theme or the opening credits. Like if you'd never seen this show, but you just watched the opening, you at least had the background. They didn't have to jump into exposition. You knew, exactly what it was about.
Yeah, there's one other song on this here list that I think comes close to being that narrative of a song for the show, but that one's King, or Prince rather.
Nice. Yeah, I can think of one for sure.
Yeah.
And it might end up on one of our lists, so I don't want to.
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I don't want to. That's the only downside of doing this as we are as a draft, complete redraft, is that we're taking things off the board, and you don't want to get into talking about too much about other songs, as you don't want to tip your hand and then end up losing a pick. Yeah, it's that time of year. We're getting into that time of year. We're very close to fantasy football draft season. So it's the kind of thing we're going to spend the summer talking about football, but not too much about the wrong thing, because I don't want to tell you bastards who I'm planning on drafting.
Right.
I'm not giving you any of my sleeper picks.
We got our Beckett magazines at the ready. We got Saquon Barkley, number 1 overall. Oops, I said too much. Don't listen to me.
Madden curse.
But what you could listen to is my first pick for the TV Themes redraft. It was my number 2 song when we did this originally. Jay, it was your number 5 song. Mm-hmm. There is a bit of a juxtaposition. One of the things I tried to draw on this time around was really paying attention to the intro visuals and how well they work. Not how good the intro was, but just how well it synergized with the song. And at first, this didn't at all. But as I thought about it more, it kind of did, because the intro showing a lot of very old-timey elites with top hats and a hatred for the proletariat and the whole thing. Despite that, even the rich fucks, even the stuffy, haughty, rich fucks of the world still need a place to go where everybody knows their name. they need it far less than the working class and the folks that are rolling up their sleeves and, actually working for their living and making their wages the right way and not the shitty way. I don't know how this got into a conversation about that. I stand by everything I said for what it's worth. I also stand by Where Everybody Knows Your Name, as performed by Gary Portnoy, of course, the theme to Cheers. Comes on a bit of a sad note with George Wendt, the actor who played Norm, having passed away here a couple of weeks ago. Certainly, if we were doing a top 5 beloved TV characters list, I have a feeling he would be on many, many lists. But this track, and because of the characters in the show and because of the show itself, it certainly elevated the track and vice versa to the lengths that it went to be one of the best TV tracks in the history of television.
Yeah, no arguments.
No, none. It does kind of remind you going back to a place where we don't really see much anymore of a TV theme that makes it into the Hot 100 kind of thing. That doesn't happen so much anymore.
Right.
No, very, very rare. I'm trying to think of other cases where that has, and again, not giving anything away, but I think there are at least a couple on this list that did hit the top 4. I think maybe one that hit number 1. Maybe it was this one. It might have been a different one, but
I don't think it was that one.
I think you're right. Yeah. But exceedingly rare even then and virtually non-existent today.
Right.
It's not non-existent. And that is Jay's first pick for his redraft.
You are right.
Not exactly the first round.
As the 3rd overall pick in the redraft of our TV shows, the representatives of Jay would like to select from Zach's pick 2 years ago, his number 4 pick from What We Do in the Shadows, is the song You're Dead by Norma Tanego. Listen, it's written in 1966, written and recorded in 1966. It's a jarringly beautiful song for a show about vampires. a rather stupid show about vampires. It's a brilliantly funny, well-written show. And this song, with the images that come up behind it while it's being played during the intro, is the perfect representation of what you're about to see. It's cheeky. It is bluesy and like down homey feel for a show about a group of, pleasant elderly vampires just trying to get along.
They're all so dumb.
They're all so dumb.
And it's so delightful. Like I say that, I don't mean that derisively. It is an incredibly well acted show.
Yeah. I have a t-shirt with Nandor the Relentless on it. And it just says, because I would just never relent.
It's so stupid. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, one of the best pairings of like show, like you alluded to, show, intro, and song, like the intro visual, the song itself, and then the overall show. Like it all fits. It all intersects so incredibly well.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful song to start with.
Yeah. Yeah, in a vacuum, it passes that test of like, if the show didn't exist, this would still be a great song.
Yeah, which is probably true of so few of the songs on this list.
Yeah, there are some.
There's a handful.
Yeah, there's a handful there. Yeah, no.
I noticed that too, like just the reverence of the show definitely bled into like, is this song really that great? Or is it just that I liked the show and thought this song went along with it?
Like take, for example, like as awesome as Dan's number 1 overall pick here, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that song in a vacuum doesn't work. Not well anyway.
I will counter that by saying there is an extended version that works a lot better.
I know. Well, they filmed the whole thing.
Yeah.
There is an extended version of the intro as well.
Yeah, I found it. I couldn't figure out when it played. I'm assuming like the very first episode, but I couldn't figure that part out. But it definitely gives a little more context than like the show intro. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't work in a vacuum as well as some of the other tracks, of which one Dan is going to be sharing with us right now is his 2nd overall pick or 4th overall pick.
At the 4th overall pick, I will counter with 2 things. Is that it's an interesting kind of dichotomy is whether or not a song needs to work on its own to be to an effective TV. So, because there are plenty that do. There are definitely plenty that do. And also, do you want one that does, or do you want something that's so specific that they're only thinking of your show? It's a real like, it's the real back and forth.
That's a good argument. I like it.
Really is.
Let me waste some time at the podium, and instead of bringing up somebody from my front office who's getting paid way too much to do this job. Let me briefly explain the concept of what I'm building it around, so then you can figure out, and if you want to snipe, you can go from there. So I will tip my hand slightly a bit. And I was working around one concept when it came to these themes. So I was trying to do a different list. Sing-along ability.
Okay.
And I was looking for songs that were big enough to make that impact. They were easy to remember. They would even be memeable, if you will. And that's why I included the line, join in where you can, because everyone of a certain generation at least knows some of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Most of us it's almost like the TV version of what's the meme of the millennial trigger when you start the piano riff for 1,000 miles, but stop midway through.
I haven't seen that meme, but it would end me if I saw it.
There you go. I feel I have to stay away for that one. So that's what I was looking for. And that's what I was looking for with the number 4 overall pick, that it's made into a couple of my sing-along playlists for driving to. To which, gentlemen, let me remind you that I know what I have been told. It's time to break free and break the mold. Can't do this on my own. So I call upon Laszlo Bain and his theme from Scrubs, Superman, as my number 2 pick.
Pulling from your own honorable mentions.
Both of these are mine, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I said it couldn't be done.
But honestly, and that fits that way, even knowing that by the midway through the show, that was it. Like, the intro had basically gone down to like 2 lines of the song, but it was still a standout track in a show where music was actually a really big part and really important to the show itself.
I think maybe that's what kind of drew me away from that, in the sense that the song, not the theme, but the song is fabulous. It is a tremendously good track. And it's almost like I want more of it. And you just don't really get that, in the show. And I get it. There are time constraints and all that. But a song like that, like, I feel like you need to let it breathe a little bit,
Yeah. And honestly, for me, and again, this is as I was narrowing down this list into the things that I wanted to draft, the thing for me about Superman that turns me away from it a little bit is that I can still hear that remix from season 9.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can pretend all you want, but this is not a Mandela effect.
No. I'm going to continue to pretend.
Producer Nikki, when she hears this, will be nodding vigorously at the absence of season 9.
That didn't happen. They did make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. I don't know what you're talking about.
I actually just rewatched season 9 of Scrubs, and the worst part of it is that remix of that theme song. It's awful.
That's fair. Interestingly enough, and I don't know if I brought this up the last time or not, but actually the second time it's been on a soundtrack.
Oh, interesting.
You have to go back to about the same time, 2000s romantic comedy, The Tao of Steve.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I've heard that name.
That's a show that no one has brought up ever.
Yeah. I legit, just looking at the names, you're not going to know anybody. Maybe Donald Logue, but you'll know him by face.
I mean, I know Donald Logue. He's been in a few good things.
Kimo Willis, maybe. Eddie from Empire Records.
These are names. These are words.
Like Donald Logue. I mean, he was really good in. Was it not 8 Simple Rules? What was the other one that was the
Grounded
same?
for Life?
Grounded for Life. Thank you. And then he was also in King's Speech. So
he's the name from that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, completely disregarding the fact that it's time for Zach's number 2 pick, the 5th pick overall.
I'm going to go a little more current than the Tao of Steve, but not much more current. And this is going to be another. Now, see, this is where the strategy's coming into play. I think I'm going to switch my board up a little bit, just in case this one ends up getting sniped. But the other one is going to too. You know what? I'm just going to go with the OG. I'm going to go with the original plan. And we're going to talk about a song, to quote content creator Gletus, because I research content creators on YouTube for some dumb reason. Gletus said that this opening theme, quote, was the sound that dominated a decade of drama TV. And even saying those words out loud, that might be underselling it, believe it or not. The song paints the exact picture that it needs to. It sounds great in a vacuum. It works great with the very, very intricate and ever-changing theme intro sequence of the show. And it's just beyond iconic. Of course, I'm talking about the unfortunately named main title, otherwise known as the opening theme to Game of Thrones. The theme was composed by the fabulous Ramin Djawadi, who has done several other things prior to and since then, including Westworld and a bunch of other shit I've forgotten. But this is his opus, and for very good reason. It is fantastic, and it precedes itself in every way.
Yeah, it was one of the ones I was considering sniping out from under you and Dan, as he had it as his number 2 last time, and you had it as your number 1. I was thinking about sniping it, chose not to.
You're a good man.
See, and you were all in the clear because I was working on a whole different level.
There's no sing-along ability there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not 0, but it's not high.
It's not 0, but it's there. Like it's there, and I'll spoil it so you can have it. It's on the passive list for the same reason the Sanford and Sons list, even though I would argue that, to bring it full circle, Turk and JD did in fact make it a sing-along theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can like you could do some work there. It could be car karaoke if you try hard enough.
Yeah, anything is if you try hard enough. And that one you wouldn't have to try all that hard. I'll give you that.
That's true. Jay, did you try very hard to come up with your 6th overall pick?
I did not have to, because I'm going to snipe from my own list this time, which I guess is not a snipe at all. It's just picking. For my number 6, or for the number 6 pick, my second, I'm going to go with the concept theme song that represents something of the concept of the show. It's not just a TV song, it's a cultural theme. It highlights the meta ideal of obsession begetting obsession, memes on memes. It's a remix of a video interview about a news event, making the entire story viral. That, of course, is the theme song to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Unbreakable. Stay alive, damn it.
Man, females are strong as hell, dude. I'll tell you what. Out of context, that should be cut. In context, it is very sensical.
Yes.
No, it's an unskippable theme. It really is.
Yeah. One of very few, actually. Like, when you get that skip intro button at the beginning of the show when you're binge watching, it's hard not to hit skip on a lot of theme songs. Not that one. Pretty easy to keep going on that one.
Yeah, you let it breathe. It's funny. It's informational to a weird extent. I don't think it's necessarily like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme. But if you have watched the show, then you realize, like, wow, yeah, this is kind of like exposition in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool song. That's a cool show too.
How
long did it run, dude? Was it like 4 or 5 seasons?
No, I don't think it was that long.
Oh shit! Wow.
Maybe 3 seasons. I don't remember.
Wow.
That is information that the internet has.
I literally have nothing to help contribute with because I have never seen a single episode.
4 seasons. Yeah. Brilliant show. Ellie Kemper's amazing, and Carol Kane is a genius.
Yeah. And Titus Burgess?
Yeah.
Is Titus his actual last name, not Andromedon or whatever the character's last name is? Absolute delight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you would dig it, Dan. You know what we dig is your number 7 overall pick.
We move into round 3, and I admit this now. I have to kind of dig through. Where do I want to go with here next? Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the damn. All right. No, I'm not. I'm on a different direction. Screw it. I'm not. You don't have to worry about it being at the podium. You're fine. With the third pick, with the first pick of the third round, I would like to take us down. Fuck it. I'd like to take us down Miami Way. A song originally written before, long before the show was a concept done by Andrew Gold,
No.
performed for the show by Cynthia Fee. It is, of course, Thank You for Being a Friend with the Golden Girls.
No.
Yep.
I mean, you can have it. I wasn't fighting you for that one.
Didn't matter. But same concept. The reason everyone completely forgets this is an Andrew Gold song, like 5 years, that put out 5 years before the show even was a thing, is because of how well connected it is to the Golden Girls. Because again, it's a full song. It's far more fleshed out. It tells a better story. However, just the one verse and half a chorus is all you needed.
It's not.
And maybe a little cheesecake.
That's true.
Yeah, that's facts. Dan, I'm 100% with you for what it's worth.
Thank you.
On my list, this was number 6 on my board, and it could have easily been higher. It is a perfect song befitting of a perfect cast and a perfect show.
I agree with you on the latter 2 points.
I don't know what your beef is with Andrew Gold here, but...
Oh, I don't have a beef with Andrew Gold overall. I think this song needs the rest of the song to make any sort of sense.
I do love the rest of the song too, but I think this is one of those cases where the intro snippet, like the slice of it, does still work for what it does.
It kind of nails what it needs to, and it's about it. Like, all right,
I feel
four friends.
I will say I get into this argument with my significant other all the time. She also loves this theme song, but to me, like, boiling down the idea of a great friendship to "I'll give you the biggest gift" is terrible. She's downstairs yelling, "It's the best." I don't know if you can hear that.
She is correct.
She is correct because you're forgetting, like, literally lyric 2, traveling down the road and back again.
Yeah, Jay.
But I'll give you the biggest gift. That's what a friend is.
That is all you took from it. Sure,
Yep.
if you ignore like 4 other lines of the song.
Also, spoiler alert, I like gifts.
Right? I'm a cheap date. I ain't gonna lie.
iPads, whatever you got, bro. I'll take it. Yeah, if any of mine had gotten sniped, Dan, this was definitely the next one up on my board. So this was good timing on your part to get that one squared away.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, what are you going to go with then for the number 8 pick, for your third round pick?
My third round pick at number 8 overall, based on your assessment, Dan, I don't think this is going to end up on your board. Jay, this might end up on your board, and this was what I was going back and forth on last round, because this was originally on your list. This was one of your honorable mentions. And I just want to make sure that I'm protecting myself just in case. I mean, it's the best available, truly, at this point. One of the things that really draws me to this theme is that it creeps the ever-loving fuck out of me every time I hear it. More than the Twilight Zone theme, more than the Tales from the Crypt theme, more than the 2020 theme. Yeah, the one with the late, great Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters. I was a weird kid, okay? But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. The fact that this theme was a total accident and was just conceived because the composer, Mark Snow, kind of rested his arm on the keyboard in a certain way and it emitted a certain sound. And the show creator, Chris Carter, was like, yes, that's the one. And Mark Snow was like, dude, all I did was just put my arm here. What the fuck? But it gave the echo effect that this track truly needed. That paired with the whistling from Mark Snow's wife, of all people, kind of chopped and screwed together, gave us the weirdest theme to one of the weirdest shows in television history, and that was The X-Files. It is a song that I've heard 100 times. And as I was writing my little description for that, I pulled it up just to see if I could pull a nugget or something out of there, listening to it one last time. As soon as I turned it on, the lights flickered. I shit you not. That is real. That's not a bit. So it very much still haunts me to this day, and I love it.
That's a good story to add to that, because it makes it feel, I don't know. It's good. I like it.
It is cool. The theme for one show has just kind of become like the soundtrack of the concept of weird and possibly creepy.
Yeah, very much so.
It is. You just kind of mention something like that, like, oh, this happened, or the street light went off and everyone starts whistling, you know?
Yeah, it definitely was right there in the zeitgeist, right along with the show itself. Definitely one that got a mind or a life of its own as the show gained popularity. Jay, how popular is your number 9 overall pick?
Well, I don't know which one I want to go with now. You know what? I'm going to go with that one. It should. I'll go with this because of what I wrote for it originally when we did this last time, and that is because that it's seldom that the voice of a theme song embodies the character of the show in a way that is simultaneously cheeky and spot fucking on. That's Monk. It's a Jungle Out There as performed by Randy Newman. It's rude, I know, I'm sorry, but it just fits so well that I can't help it. It's a muttering, mumbling, backward individual with OCD, social issues, and a plethora of other socially annoying personal habits that can only be sung by Randy Newman.
It fits the show so well. I hate the fucking song, but it fits show so well. I can't deny that it's the perfect theme for that show. I just don't like the song in a vacuum.
Fair enough. It's hard to like a handful of Randy Newman songs in a vacuum.
Exactly.
Unless you're watching him perform them, which is that at that point, it's just brilliant.
Legitimately, until I looked, I thought that was just a song from earlier in Newman's career that they found. It was just happened to be perfect. I didn't realize it was written for the show.
Yeah.
Like, that's even better. Like, they just found someone that neurotic that just had a song that neurotic. Perfect.
Yep.
Like, no. All right.
Yeah, like if you had to pick somebody with all of those characteristics and you needed a song for them, get Randy.
No, I agree. As much as I despise it, I could not think of a better song for that show, truly. And for that character, like you said. A good pick, much to my chagrin. All right, we have rounded up the first 3 rounds, and we go head first into the 4th round. Dan, hit us with your number 10 overall.
Man, it is the beginning of the 4th round, and there's a whole lot of stuff that is still here that would work out really well as a sing-along, but I'm going to go a little farther old school because I don't know if I did before. Did I before? No, I think I'm just redrafting my own whole list. This feels weak, but I don't give a shit because right now, no, it is time to play the music and light the lights. It's time to meet the next pick, the theme from The Muppet Show.
That was my next pick.
I think it's the oldest one, but again,
I think so, yeah. Well,
yeah,
the A-Team is on there too.
It's not sing-alongable though.
No, I'm just saying on the whole list, yeah.
Not necessarily true. Again, much like Sanford and Son, if you really want to, and way back in the day, we had an entire bit on my old college radio show where we made that a sing-along.
Sure. And I know you actually like that's what I had written down as the next pick I was going to make was the Muppet Show. So
as was I.
Oh, I'll take that. Now you guys got to scramble.
The double snipe.
Make that phone call down to Southern Miss and see if you can still get that linebacker.
It's going to make this a Key and Peele bit, but I'm going to refrain. Instead, I'm going to stall for time as I do scramble for my number 11 overall pick. I feel like y'all have something weird up your sleeves for the remainder of your list. And I know it's not...
You can go right ahead and think that.
You do you, boss. You do you.
But I'm actually going to pull a Dan here, and I'm going to draw off of my initial list. If there was anything on that list on my short list that could possibly be sniped, it's going to be this one. I don't think it will be, but what the heck? We'll get it out of the way anyway. It is a track from, I think the first track that I've mentioned from an animated series. I know when we did this the first time around, I had a lot of animated honorable mentions, but nothing in my top list. And definitely had some higher up this time around, but wanted to highlight a really cool little ditty produced and performed by Bowling for Soup. It is the theme song to the show Phineas and Ferb. It's called Today Is Going to Be a Great Day. It's kind of sort of expositional. It kind of tells you some of the crazy shit that Phineas and Ferb are getting into during their summer break. It's fun, it's goofy, it's upbeat. It very much fits the vibe of the show in a really, really great way. I'm probably not going to be in the Bowling for Soup fan club anytime soon, but I think they absolutely nailed it in this one. It's a fantastic theme, and it's a really well-fitted theme for the show.
Yeah, that's the other one I was gonna pick.
What a
And it is the other
snipe.
song. It is the other song I was thinking of when we were talking about the expositional storytelling. Like the theme song tells you what you're about to watch.
Oh.
That's the other one on this list that, like, full stop, I believe it does that.
That's a great one, and it's also one of those where the opening credits also like put that over the top. You meld those two together, you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Even if you don't quite understand why the platypus can fight good, you know what's going on.
Platypus.
The hat game is strong as hell too.
On point. Also, by the way, season 5 just dropped on Disney Plus.
Did it really?
Yes, literally like a couple days prior to us recording this, the new season is out.
I will need to get on that immediately.
And
I know
Dan
what I'm
Povenmire-
doing tomorrow.
Well, Tuesday for me. Because Dan Povenmire is also a delightful follow on social media.
Agreed. I haven't been on social media in a minute, but
he's worth your time.
yeah.
And he puts all his TikToks on YouTube, so that's always a plus.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's legit. It's boomer legit, but it's legit all the same. I accept it.
I'm not mad I'm not mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to get into. Now, the whole point of also trying to do this little bit of tap dance is also to kind of give Jay a few more minutes to dig through his draft board, knowing that we've just torpedoed his next 2 picks. So I was kind of hoping we might have been able to get you a little bit of time.
It's how it usually goes. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just click the best available button. Yahoo Sports has helped me out a number of times in the past. I am going to, you know what? It's a safe pick because knowing, Dan, what your criteria was for your redraft, I think we're safe that your number 4 pick from last time in the theme song to MASH, Suicide is Painless. But I'm going to take it before Zach can get it. We're talking about that iconic helicopter intro without. I mean, you don't need it. The song is great without it, but you don't need it. There are lyrics, but you don't need them. With or without them, it's a beautiful song. Written by a 15-year-old, if I remember correctly, who retains the rights to it. And I actually prefer it without the lyrics, truthfully. I think it gives a more, it's a super melancholy song in the first place, but it gives it sort of it lets you imagine the melancholy. And it is a wonderful way to start that show. And in a vacuum, it's a very catchy, very cool song to whistle to.
I 100% agree that minus the lyrics is definitely the way to listen to that song. Because the lyrics are kind of dumb. And truth be told, that was the instruction given to said 15-year-old was write the dumbest song you can think of. Mission accomplished. But without the lyrics, it definitely is. It's almost somber. Yeah, it's a sad sound. It's a sad note progression.
That's what's interesting about the song itself is, again, musically, like you said, just somber, dour almost. But the lyrics itself, while stupid, are actually rather sarcastic.
Yeah.
Sardonic, even, if you will. Like, if they're dumb, it's like making fun of the entire concept of military service almost.
Yeah, it's there are layers. There are so many layers to that song.
Yeah.
And I mean, the show that it was representing can't be disputed either as one of the, at least one of the most lengthiest, runs in TV history, and certainly one of the most beloved.
It ran longer than the war that it was portraying.
It did indeed. Dan,
there's no good transition out of there at all. I know. But what it does do is take us to the final round. We've done a lot in a short amount of time here, gentlemen. But there's just one thing left to do. You know what it is. Do it, Rockapella! Yep.
Damn.
I will snipe from you and take Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, the theme done by Rockapella, the soundtrack of way too many afternoons after school in the mid to late 90s. Tremendous track. Also rather expositional through the whole thing to just play a silly game show for the game show that no one seemed to be able to ever win the bonus round.
Yeah, ever. Why is that?
I don't know, because in theory it was a simple concept, but it just never seemed to get it done. You just never seemed to be able to plant the little flags in enough countries.
Even as an adult, I know the show is more centered around kids being contestants, but even as an adult, I would absolutely fail that bonus round every single time.
Totally.
I honestly credit that round with why I'm obsessed with knowing the globe.
Yeah.
I can remember as a young teenager and seeing another young teenager try to plant a flag on Burkina Faso and doing it successfully. And then I go, what is Burkina Faso? And now I'm borderline obsessed with geography. So I think it's Carmen Sandiego's fault. And I blame Rockapella.
You are far from the only person that would blame both that show and Rockapella for that obsession as well.
And what I'm hearing is the fairly kick-ass Twitch stream of GeoGuessr coming to a Twitch stream near you in the near future.
I am absolutely rubbish at that that game.
Yeah,
Son
good.
of a bitch.
Oh, same, Dan. You and I could tag team and Jay would just wipe the floor with us.
Maybe.
TBD.
I'm willing to accept the challenge.
We'll make some. We'll think of something. We'll make something work. We've been talking about doing a Twitch stream at some point anyway, so this is a fairly easy game to stream compared to some of the others. So maybe we'll make it happen.
That's fair.
Fairly Twitch ass.
Fairly Twitch ass. Done. I am locking up that name as we speak. Holy shit!
All right, I'll go to the copyright office. Hang on.
Oh, but as I lock that up, I'm also going to lock up my number 14 overall pick, if counting has not eluded me yet.
No, you got it.
This is an audible, frankly, because as I look through my list, as I look through what I had higher on my list, and as I look through the lower end of that, I realized that there was a miss. There was a track that needed to be much higher than it was, a track that has been mentioned at least once, if not a couple of times already today, that somehow has slipped through all of our cracks and maybe has not quite slipped through Jay's, but it will be here in just a minute. I am talking about the iconic theme. It's called the Street Beater, which I knew as of like 2 days ago was actually the name of the song. You Know It Better is one that you absolutely have sang along to, even though it has no words. That is the legendary track to Sanford and Son. You're hearing it right now. It's one of those. It's an earworm.
Mm-hmm.
It fits. It doesn't give you lyrics. It doesn't give you exposition, but it still fits the world of the show. It fits the characters. It fits the theme of the show. It's inexplicable as to why it fits. But it's just one of those that you hear it and you think, yeah, of course it's Sanford and Son. What else would that be? It is one that definitely is not in a vacuum. You're not going to listen to this outside the confines of thinking about the show. It is absolutely tied at the hip in every sense of the word, but it is a delight and it is going to be stuck in my head at least for the next hour or two.
Yeah. Ditto. You done did it again.
Man. Jay's draft board just taking a beating. Although we'll also point out the least or the less known now is that this is also a single from the one and only legendary producer Quincy Jones.
Fuck you.
Good song.
Well,
okay.
Jay, are you ready again? Since we have
I had to call my fourth audible of the evening.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's what I get for not sticking to my own list. Because if I had wanted to, I could go with the theme from iZombie, which I had put at my number 2 last time.
Yep.
Is still a fantastic song, but I went a different direction for this list. And I'm gonna. Are we designating this Mr. Irrelevant?
Oh, absolutely.
The last pick,
For sure.
draft?
Last one in the draft. Yep.
I'm gonna go with an instantly recognizable, undeniably cheerful earworm that perfectly encapsulates the show's whimsical spirit. We're going to transport you back to Bluffington. I had to look that up on my phone real quick. We're going to transport you back to Bluffington and a quirky world of Doug. You didn't just hear in your heads that chicka-pa-pa, chicka-pa-chicka-pa, chicka-chicka-pa-pa that ends that song. That's like my favorite thing that has ever been in a song. So that right there is the reason that I'm picking Doug as the number 15 overall pick, ending our draft.
If we'd gone 6 rounds, that was my next pick. Because again, you say that, oh, there's not lyrics. Like, yeah, there absolutely are. And you absolutely were singing along to both parts of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because the second you said Bluffington, I went, yeah.
It's one of those that maybe just hits for us because like it's very much a certain very specific slice of folks of a very specific age that vibe with the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I am that person, and I am unabashedly that person, and I love the song.
It is. There were a number, I feel like, of Nickelodeon shows from back in that day that had very similarly iconic song, or that were similarly iconic. And I'm sure that I know one of them made the short list here, and that was the theme for Rugrats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There are others.
Mark Mothersbaugh's a genius.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no arguments to any of this. I mean, outside of the one that I argued with, I have no other arguments.
And I cannot deny the sing-along ability of the one song that I did argue with.
Well, Dan, do you want to real quickly go through your final lineup, your final draft?
I was keeping a whole draft board if you'd like me to go down our final teams as well.
Oh, I have to. Yeah.
So the easy one, 1 through 5, my team consists of the themes from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, from Scrubs, of The Golden Girls, The Muppet Show, and rounding it out with Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. While Zach's team will bring out starters, the Everybody Knows Your Name from Cheers, the main theme of Game of Thrones, as well as the theme from The X-Files, Bowling for Soups, Today is Going to Be a Great Day from Phineas and Ferb, and finally The Street Beater from Sanford and Sons. And Jay's team consists of You're Dead, highlighting What We Do in the Shadows, Unbreakable from the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, It's a Jungle Out There, representing Monk, Suicide is Painless from MASH, and just wrapped up Mr. Irrelevant in 2025, the theme from Doug.
That's 3 good squads, boys.
It's 3 good squads. I was trying to avoid anyone on my team being the theme from something, but at the end of the day, I had to go with it.
I mean, it's not necessarily negative in this particular list.
No.
And there is at least one theme that was the actual title of the theme was this is the theme to Gary's show, specifically from It's Gary Shandling's show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also dumb as hell, and I love it so much.
Dumb as hell.
Yeah.
I had to pass on it this time, but again, the lyrics are just great. Again, like you said, this is the theme to Gary's show is literally the first line of the song. It includes a line, Gary called me up and asked me if I knew his theme song.
It's so good.
Is there anything that you guys would have added in the couple of years it's been since we did this original draft? Dan, you and I brought up something initially. You said you might have had something you wanted to add.
Yeah, can I remember it now, 40 minutes down the line? Of course not.
For me, the only thing that I thought of that isn't on this list that I thought should be on this list, as it didn't exist when we did this a couple of years ago, was the theme to The Last of Us.
Yeah.
For a lot of the same reasons for the Game of Thrones main title lives in our heads. That one lives in mine as well. So that one could have made this cut and probably would have been in my top 5 had it been available. It did not enter the draft this year. We'll hold out for future prospects.
Oh, I did remember what it was. Okay. Because I was looking at your list, and it's related that way because you had, and I even wrote down Leaving for Jay with The Wire and Tom Waits Way Down in the Hole.
Yeah.
And it goes to the song that I could have added, and I know I've made a part of a list before because it was inspired by Way Down in the Hole, thematically and musically, the main title theme for Peaky Blinders, and that would be Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Hell yeah.
And the difference between those two is that the Tom Waits one isn't the theme for every season of The Wire, whereas Red Right Hand is for Peaky Blinders. Right. It's actually why I didn't go with it on this one. I appreciate you leaving it for me, but that's why I didn't go with it.
Fair. Very fair.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to hit your list too, Jay.
I thought about it.
Well, I've got a couple that I probably would have added. I think they both would have been honorable mentions, but one that is weird and one that is a little more traditional. The weird one is a song called Otonoke, performed by Japanese hip-hop duo Creepy Nuts, is the opening theme song to the anime series Dan to Dan, which I cannot recommend because it is weird as shit, but it is also very good if you like things that are super weird. As well as Teardrop by Massive Attack, the theme to House, which is a beautiful song. I don't think any of the lyrics end up in the actual theme itself. I think it's just the instrumental parts. But it's a lyrically beautiful song too.
I also think I remember thinking that the theme song to the Shannara series that was on MTV for a week, and the theme song was done by Ruel. And I remember loving it, but completely forgot about it before doing this list. And I don't know if I would have thought of it again unless we were doing this list again.
Well, we'll talk about it in 2027 when we redraft our redraft.
We redraft our list. When we all come back and try to rebuild after having to trade away all of our assets, and yet...
Wait, we're all the Cleveland Browns now?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Hey, that was one time, today, but it was one time. Yeah, maybe we make this into a bit. We take some off the list. We add some new ones to the list. I don't know. We can have fun with it.
The last thing I could add, and the only reason I didn't try to make it a thing, I know you're trying to wrap up, but I just remembered the joke, so you're stuck with it now. The last thing is because it was an animated theme on here. Actually, there were two because I wanted to bring up the animated theme that you put up there to Serial Experiments Lane, Boa and Duvet, and I didn't know it at the time, but it since hit my liked songs playlist because I'm like, damn, this is a way better song than I ever expected it to be. But I would call out Bob's Burgers theme because it didn't fit for the theme of this list. But literally every time I hear it, all I see in my head is the van that says "Sense and Sense of Killaflea." And it's one of the most underrated jokes on TV is the constant literary puns in the Exterminator vans. But that's just me.
Well, and also just the random nature of the billboard next door.
Yes, that too. Yes.
Probably if there's any show that, animated show specifically, that folks were like, you have to watch the show, it's always Bob's Burgers. And I need to. I need to listen to all of you.
It's the best. Rewatching again, and I'm on season 5. It's the perfect background show. This would be the 4th watch through, I think.
Nice. Well, I know that we only had 30 some odd songs on this list. There are many, as we mentioned, that we did not talk about, many that did not hit our radar, and many that didn't even exist when we first did this back in 2023. But you still have to do, listeners. You still have to tell us, even if they were not in the parameters and guardrails of our episode, if it's a miss, it's a miss, and we still need to know about it. So hit us up in all the usual ways. Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Fairly KickAss on all 4 of them. FairlyKickAss@gmail.com for email correspondence. FairlyKickAss.com for World Wide Web correspondence, if that's a thing. And also, wherever you're listening, wherever in the world and wherever digitally that you're getting this show, keep getting it. We have so many episodes for you to choose from, dating back to around this time last year when we moved to not Spotify exclusivity anymore. If you want even more than that, if you want the extra credit, we still have all of our old shit on Spotify too. And that goes back clear to 2021. So those episodes do have music interspersed with the actual podcast, not something that we're able to do anymore, unfortunately. So check us out wherever you get your podcast. We are going to be pulling some of those older episodes out as well and broadcasting them across all the platforms. We've done that a few times. So be on the lookout for those as well. Like, subscribe, and follow and all that fun stuff. Any television related things that y'all would like to share before we leave?
Only that my brain did this really dumb thing where I went, where in the world is Fairly KickAss Podcast?
The bin, hopefully.
We record that. However, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, Gene. I'm in a wall.